Actually, let's go since it's mental health month for me always. Adjustment disorder. Why is that not a good idea to have, or why is that kind of tricky if you're going to file a mental health claim?
Because according to the VA, and I should know as a former VA Raider, retired, that the VA classifies chronic adjustment disorder, one, a chronic disability, two, they consider a 6 month disability, so it's short term. Um,
So how is
so
it chronic, which is longer than 6 months, and
I
acute?
know it's an
That's it, because
oxymoron,
it's a fucking jerk
but
off thing.
that's just the name of the
Yeah.
disorder. In the manual, it's considered chronic adjustment disorder with mixed anxiety and depressed mood. That's the most typical diagnosis you'll see. But I think
Yeah,
they
but
pretty
it's
much
like one of those loophole kind of, ways they can save money way before you even turn into a veteran.
so you're going to want to get, if you get diagnosed with that and service connected for that, you're probably going to want to get off of that chronic adjustment disorder and kind of focus on either the depressive disorder or anxiety disorder that came along with a chronic adjustment disorder and focus more
So
on
yeah,
that.
this is what we're talking about right now. HT. We're talking about adjustment disorder, one you want to get off of. So let's talk about and we'll get to the article. We're gonna be here for a while. So how do you get off? Like that happened. Not how do you get off? You probably jerk off and do some whatever. You don't know what I want to do. This is turning gay. Uh, when you get off of adjustment disorder or don't get bipolar, you don't want that. How do you do that? I've had that question, or I haven't explained it very well. What does like get off of that mean? It means get a doctor to write down anything other than adjustment disorder or bipolar and get off of that and just start disappearing it from your record. If you have to get a private doctor to do that, that's how you do it. Just make sure if you're just kind of like listening to the VA employees do things and tell you things, you're just going to keep going the path of least resistance and then keep on that adjustment disorder. So challenge your
Here's
doctor, get another doctor, go hire a doctor, right?
here's
Or
the easiest way to look at it. Knowing that your adjustment disorder is a short-term disability and you have a long-term disability, you're going to want to, like I said, get either a depressive disorder or anxiety disorder, and your adjustment disorder, by the fact of longevity, is going to progress. So it's going to be so your depressive disorder or anxiety disorder, it's a progression. So
so,
when the VA sees a change of diagnosis, they're going to say, hey, is this new diagnosis of a anxiety disorder or a depressive disorder, or name the disorder, whatever it is. They're going to say, okay, service connection was established under adjustment disorder. Is this new diagnosis a progression of the service connected disability? And more likely than not, it's going to be a progression, because now you're looking at you're
right.
progressing short-term
And due to the
disability,
changing and
long-term
subjective
disability.
nature of mental health claims, if you show up with a new diagnosis, they're most likely going to consider it. So you could kind of steer it. I don't know if you could probably steer it easier than cancer and no cancer, right? Going up against subjective
Well, that's
testing.
black and I mean, cancer is pretty black and white. I mean, it can be detected. Cancer can be detected on, an X-ray or an MRI, or there's conclusive testing that they can do to determine cancer. Whereas mental health is more subjective.
Yep. Maybe that's why it changes all the time. That's why every time I've gone in for a mental health increase or whatever, it they change the verbiage up. Anyway, back out of the weeds. Yeah, adjustment. What are some other bullshit ones that you don't want? You definitely don't want bipolar. Why don't you want bipolar?
Bipolar, besides the fact it's a fucked up condition because of the roller coaster you're going to ride, because it's, peaks and valleys,
Right.
manic
Yeah, but we're
phases.
not talking about how it makes you feel. It makes me feel fucked up. I just don't want that shit. I don't want that label on me.
A lot of times the bipolar disorder, those generally don't get diagnosed in service. A lot of times your bipolar disorders, they'll say there's a little bit of genetics behind it.
So they're going down
Hereditary.
the pre-existing or
Yeah,
childhood or something.
it's best to steer away from that. Yeah,
So they're finding another way to blame it on something other than the military, basically, because this is all about money.
correct.
Let me jump in here real quick and tell you about my boot camp. If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, check out my boot camp. You can talk to me live. There's a link on the website and in the description, combatcraig.com. And also, if you need medical evidence like a nexus or documenting your symptoms properly, go to our website, combatcraig.com, and it says medteam/nexus letters. Click on that link, fill out the form. Boom, you're done.